What if I told you that in the heart of Mathura stands a temple where every night an event unfolds so sacred, so extraordinary, that devotees wait for years just to witness it? Where the Lord of the universe closes his eyes for rest in a ritual so ancient that it predates most civilizations. Where a single ceremony performed after sunset holds such spiritual power that millions believe it can change destinies. Where the temple doors close not just to lock a building, but to preserve a divine secret that has been protected for centuries. Is this merely a bedtime ritual? Or is this a living bridge between the mortal world and the eternal realm that continues to draw millions into its mystical embrace? Let us today discover the complete story of what truly happens at night in the Krishna temples of Mathura. As the sun begins its descent over the Yamuna river, the entire atmosphere of Mathura transforms. The bustling streets that echo with the chants of Hare Krishna throughout the day start settling into a different kind of reverence. The temple bells that ring constantly during daylight hours now take on a softer, more intimate tone. Shopkeepers selling prasad and religious items begin closing their stalls. Priests who have been performing arti after arti throughout the day prepare for the most important ceremony of all. The air itself seems to change, becoming heavier with devotion and anticipation. Because what is about to happen is not just another ritual. It is the Shayan Arti, the ceremony of putting Lord Krishna to sleep. But before we understand what makes this night ceremony so special, we need to understand something crucial about the Krishna temples of Mathura. These are not ordinary places of worship. According to ancient texts and local belief, this is the actual birthplace of Lord Krishna. This is where, over 5,000 years ago, in the dark confines of a prison cell, Devaki gave birth to the eighth avatar of Lord Vishnu. The very ground on which these temples stand is considered to be soaked in divine energy. Every stone, every pillar, every corner carries the essence of Krishna's presence. And this is why what happens here at night is not considered a mere ritual, but an actual interaction with the living God. As evening approaches, a specific category of devotees begins gathering near the main sanctum. These are not ordinary visitors. These are people who have registered months in advance, sometimes even years, for the privilege of witnessing the Shayan Arti. Yes, you heard that correctly. People wait for years. In major temples like the Krishna Janmabhoomi temple and the Dwarkadhish temple, the demand to witness this night ceremony is so overwhelming that there are waiting lists that stretch across seasons. Some devotees book their spot during one Janmashtami, hoping to get entry by the next Janmashtami. The question is, what makes this night ceremony worth such a long wait? The answer lies in what this ceremony represents. In Hindu philosophy, the concept of treating God as a living entity, as a real person with needs and emotions, is called Madhurya Bhava. And nowhere is this concept more beautifully expressed than in the night rituals of Krishna temples. Throughout the day, Krishna is worshipped as the mighty Lord, the protector, the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. But as night falls, he transforms into the beloved child, the tired cowherd returning from the forests of Vrindavan, the divine being who also needs rest and care. The Shayan Arti is essentially putting a child to sleep, except this child is the Supreme Lord of the universe. Around 7 to 8 in the evening, depending on the season, the final visitors of the day are gently ushered out of the main temple complex. The massive doors begin to close. But for those fortunate few who have waited their turn, this is when the real darshan begins. Inside the sanctum, the priests begin the elaborate preparation. The deity is adorned with special night garments. In some temples, the regular ornaments are replaced with lighter jewelry. The heavy crowns are removed. Fresh flowers are arranged around the sleeping area. A special bed, often made of silver or decorated with intricate designs, is prepared. Soft cushions are placed. The entire scene is set not for a ritual, but for actual sleep. The Shayan Arti itself is unlike any other Arti performed during the day. There are no loud drums, no energetic dancing, no crowds jostling for a better view. Instead, there is an atmosphere of profound stillness. The priests sing lullabies, ancient Sanskrit shlokas that are designed to soothe and calm. The arti lamps are waved in gentle circular motions. The bells are rung softly, almost like a whisper. Devotees stand in complete silence, many with tears streaming down their faces, watching as the Lord is put to rest. It is said that in this moment, the barrier between the divine and the human becomes so thin that prayers offered during Shayan Arti reach directly to the Lord's ears. But what happens after the doors close completely? This is where the mystery deepens. Once the Shayan Arti concludes and the select devotees are escorted out, the temple enters a phase known as Shayan Kal, or the sleep period. According to temple traditions that have been followed for centuries, during this time, absolutely no one is allowed inside the main sanctum. Not the head priest, not the temple administrator, not even in case of emergency. The sanctity of the Lord's rest is considered so important that breaking this rule is seen as a grave spiritual offense. The doors are sealed from inside using ancient locking mechanisms. In some temples, there are special seals that can only be broken by specific priests during the morning awakening ceremony. Local legends and temple lore speak of strange occurrences during these night hours. Senior priests who have spent their entire lives serving in these temples speak in hushed tones about sounds that emerge from the locked sanctum. Some say they have heard the soft tinkling of ankle bells, as if someone is walking inside. Others report a faint glow emanating from under the closed doors, though no lamps are left burning inside. There are accounts of fragrant smells, different from the incense burned during Arti, wafting through the temple corridors at midnight. Village elders in Mathura will tell you that these are signs of the Lord's Leelas, his divine plays, that continue even when human eyes cannot witness them. There is a particularly fascinating tradition followed in the Dwarkadish temple of Mathura. Every night, after the Shayan Arti, a small bowl of fresh makhan, butter, is left inside the sanctum before the doors are sealed. This practice has continued unbroken for over 400 years. The next morning, when the priests open the doors for the Mangala Arti, the awakening ceremony, they always find the bowl empty. Now, skeptics might argue about natural explanations, but for the devotees and the priests who have witnessed this phenomenon night after night, year after year, this is tangible proof that Krishna, the legendary butter thief of Vrindavan, still enjoys his favorite treat when the world sleeps. The night vigil outside the temple is another aspect that makes this tradition so unique. While the sanctum remains closed, the outer courtyards of major Krishna temples in Mathura never truly sleep. Throughout the night, groups of devotees keep arriving to sit outside the main doors. They do not come expecting entry. They come simply to be near. Some sit in meditation. Others sing bhajans in soft voices. Many simply sit in silence, feeling the presence of the divine that emanates from within. There are elderly devotees who have been coming every single night for decades. They claim that the spiritual energy during these night hours is so powerful that even sitting outside the closed doors brings peace that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Around 4 in the morning, sometimes even earlier, the temple begins stirring once again. This is the time for Mangal Arti, the auspicious awakening ceremony. The priests who have the sacred duty of waking the Lord begin their preparations. Special prayers are chanted outside the sanctum doors. Holy water from the Yamuna is sprinkled, and then, in a ceremony that mirrors the care with which a mother wakes her child, the doors are slowly opened. The priests enter singing gentle morning ragas. They approach the deity with utmost reverence. The story goes that the deity is never found in the exact same position as the previous night. Sometimes the garlands appear slightly moved. Sometimes the cushions seem disturbed. For the faithful, these are signs that the Lord truly rests and moves in his divine sleep. The Mangala Arti that follows is considered one of the most auspicious moments in the entire day. Devotees who witness this, who see the Lord awakening, believe they receive special blessings that last throughout their lives. This is why there is a separate waiting list just for Mangala Arti Darshan. Imagine the devotion, where people wait years, not for a grand festival, not for a special occasion, but simply to see the deity wake up. What makes the night ceremony in Mathura's Krishna temples even more significant is its connection to the broader philosophy of bhakti. In the bhakti tradition, God is not a distant, abstract concept. God is a friend, a parent, a child, a beloved. The night rituals embody this intimate relationship. They tell us that divinity is not just about cosmic power and universal consciousness. It is also about love so pure and so personal that we put our beloved to sleep with lullabies and wake them with gentle songs. This is the essence of what happens every night in Mathura. This is what millions of devotees instinctively understand and what draws them back again and again. The economic and social impact of these night ceremonies on Mathura is also worth understanding. Thousands of people work in industries connected to temple rituals. Flower vendors who supply the special night garlands, artisans who create the sleeping beds and cushions, singers who specialize in lullaby bhajans, families who have been serving as temple priests for generations, with specific lineages responsible for specific parts of the night ceremony. The entire ecosystem of faith creates livelihoods and preserves ancient arts that would otherwise be lost. The night ceremonies are not just spiritual events, they are the beating heart of a living culture. For those who have never witnessed these night ceremonies, it might be difficult to understand what makes them so special. After all, in our modern world, we are used to grand spectacles, to impressive displays, to instant gratification. But the power of the Shayan Aarti lies precisely in what it is not. It is not loud, it is not flashy. It is not designed for cameras and social media. It is intimate, it is personal, it is real. In those quiet moments when the lullabies are sung and the deity is put to rest, something shifts in the hearts of those present. Time seems to stop. The worries of the world fade away, and for just a brief moment, there is only love, only devotion, only the sweetest connection between the soul and the divine. This is why people wait for years. This is why elderly devotees make the difficult journey to Mathura one more time despite failing health. This is why young couples bring their newborns to receive blessings during these night hours. This is why the tradition has survived for centuries, despite invasions, despite destructions, despite everything that has tried to erase it. Because what happens at night in the Krishna temples of Mathura is not just a ritual. It is proof that faith, when it is pure and when it is practiced with love, becomes immortal. As we conclude, remember this. Somewhere in Mathura tonight, as you go about your evening, as you prepare for your own sleep, the ancient ceremony will unfold once again. The lullabies will be sung, the Lord will be put to rest, the doors will close on another day of divine play, and outside those closed doors, devotees will sit through the night, content just to be near, knowing that come morning, they will witness the awakening of the one who awakens the entire universe. This is the eternal cycle. This is the living tradition. This is what happens every night in the Krishna temples of Mathura.